Right, I believe it's that sort of time. Greetings and salutations. Hello. I'm a bit low, aren't I? Should I bring the camera down or sit up? Camera down. I'll only have to adjust it in a minute, won't I? So how are we, folks? Sunday night, 9 o'clock, UK time. Time for the Sunday Nighter. Oh, that's a good brew. Right. I have sweeties. Always a bonus. I see lots of people here. Lots and lots. Right, you know the drill. Start saying hi in the comments and I'll start doing the shout outs. Starting off, I see Callum, Larissa, Pagan, and Kat. Odin, Tamsin, Zed Greenfingers. Hello, dude. Insane Bleed. And I'll wait for the rest of you to catch up. And there they are, Strump. Shall we? Or are we not doing this today? We're just going to skip it, are we? Right, fine. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, Chris, hello, dude. I can't say in 4 crazy months. Fires, floods, quakes. Ready for peace and quiet and terrain building. California. Hey. Yeah, Rusty, TSM, Bill, and hello, dude. Oh, right. Well, I finished my trenches, as you've seen. And they did look nice. I've still got to arrange to get them over to Warlord. Yeah, but that'll probably happen after Salute now. I have been busy with that there terrain building. Yeah, and I've been sort of getting ahead of myself with planning. Yeah, you know that we did the trenches as sort of the sort of end of level boss for the Battlefield Basics Let's Make series. Well, obviously I'm doing the medieval series at the minute, yeah, and I'm already planning the boss for that. I want to build a Mott and Bailey. They know how to party. They certainly do, Larissa. These Californians. We're all in tonight, aren't we? Hello. So yes, I've been thinking about castles, Mott and Bailey castles. Not my big castle project, that's something separate. Yeah, but a nice Mott and Bailey. Yeah. I think I upset Kez. She was talking to me and I was just daydreaming. She looked at me and she went, "You're thinking about castles, aren't you?" Also found out today it's our wedding anniversary. We've both completely forgotten. So, happy wedding anniversary, Kez. Yeah, she's actually in there. She's up to her neck in data. Chemical samples from well studies or something. Oh, Callum's pledged for Dave Taylor's book. If you don't know what I'm on about, I put a quick video up a little while ago. My mate Dave Taylor, yeah. He's like, I don't know how to describe Dave. He's like a painting converting media personality. It's quite strange. I don't know what category you'd put him in when you try and put people in the industry categories. Yeah, but he's a sound guy and he's doing a book. It's on Kickstarter. I really should have put a link down below, but it's Armies, Hordes and Legions. Or Armies, Legions and Hordes. Those 3 words anyway. Yeah, and he's already well funded, so it's going well for him. I'll be doing a few pages. It should be interesting. The Mott and Bailey named Mel's Keep. A what? Tim doesn't know what a Mott and Bailey is. Oh, you are in trouble. What do you mean I'm in trouble? Why am I in trouble? We both forgot it. Kez reminded me. I'm just trying to remember. I think my last anniversary. What did we do? I was working on my snow table in the kitchen. He's a master painter. I say that carefully. I don't know. I don't know if he referred to himself as a master painter. I mean, he is. But you know what I mean? When you try and put Dave in a category. Because he's a media personality. I hear you. Thank you, Odin. I will check shortly. So what is a bailey? A bailey is a castle. A motte is a hill. It's an old type of English defensive structure. Yeah, quite commonly sort of like a small farmstead with a defended keep on a hill. So yeah, but I've been planning on that. So it's trying to decide which one of those to do. Odin's taking a late dinner break from miniature painting. Blazed salmon and green asparagus and butter. Oh, I pity your wife, mate. It's going to be warm in that there bedroom tonight. Asparagus? Woof! I'll clear you out. All I can is that the meds have me on. No pain, no itching, nothing. And I can move my fingers with pins with them in ease, so I'm elated. Glad to hear you're getting better, Loris. The bailey of a castle is an enclosed area outside the keep of a castle. It is, isn't it? So that the farmstead would be classed as the bailey. Hey Mel, the questions are not up yet. Are they not? I thought I did that earlier. I could have sworn I did that earlier. I did. Oh, YouTube. Oh, how we laugh. I mustn't have been serious about wanting to make it public earlier. Silly thing. YouTube misunderstood me. It's about effective as the YouTube notification system. Isn't the Old Bailey a prison? Oh, well, I mean, the Old Bailey could refer to the courtyard. Do you know what I mean? Right, we're going to have to find out now, aren't we? Bailey. Because I always thought I knew what it was. Right. Bailey may refer to, within ward or bailey, a courtyard of a castle or fortification enclosed by a curtain wall. Outer bailey, the defending outer enclosure of a castle. Yeah, that makes sense. Inner bailey, the strongly fortified enclosure at the heart of a medieval castle. Yeah, a motte and bailey. Yeah, there's a bailey bridge, which is a portable prefabricated truss bridge. But that sounds something that's World War II, doesn't it? Yeah. And with regards to the motte and bailey, a motte and bailey fortifications, wooden stone, keep fixture and raised earthwork. So the earthwork is definitely called a motte, accompanied by an outer courtyard or bailey surrounded by a protective ditch and palisade. Right. So yeah, the farmstead would be in the bailey. You learn something new every day, don't you? But hey. Bye-bye. A bailey is a horrible Stoke accident mangling of the world. Baileys and oh, calm down, Anthony. Hey, Annalie. Hey, Charlie. How are you doing? Are you still crafting, darling? Hope you spend that money on sweets. Norman's brought the idea in of the motte. It was usually made by forced local labour. This was how the Normans managed to gain control over England so quickly. Defensive structures. Still use bailey bridges today, do we? Are they still in operation? Is that what the... I mean, I've seen the portable ones. You know, the ones that whack on the back of vehicles and they can just deploy across. Or are the bailey bridges like a floating thing? Are they like pontoons? That is a damn fine brew. A damn fine brew. Now, as Kat's doing the pushing, I will do the pushing as well. Dead simple. This is a terrain question answers show. If you've got any problems, if you're after any tips and you want some advice or, you know, anything like that, anything terrain related, there's a link to the Google Doc down below. All you need to do is just submit like your screen name and your question. And then in about another 10 minutes or so, once they've built up, I'll get stuck into them, and hopefully you'll get your answer, and we'll bounce it around a bit. But that's down below in the description, the link to the Google Doc. And remember, you'll also find the links to the PayPal and the Patreon thing down there. If you want to make Mel smile, support the show, you know, all that palaver, there's a PayPal link down there. You feel free to send a few nuggets, and if you do, yeah, we all get a little bit excited, you know, we get a shout out, your name goes on the screen, and everyone's a bit happy. That's the way you should spend Sunday nights, isn't it? Happy. Hit the like button and make Mel smile. Mel doesn't even see the likes. Simple as. Those trenches look brilliant. Thank you, dude. Right, I've got 2 questions so far. Mel abuse, go in the channel. Thanks, mate. Now Larissa's doing what you call it. Larissa's pushing for the brew. My latest target, a brew station in the studio. I like that. Thank you, Larissa. The Old Bailey takes its name from the Bailey of the City of London's fortified wall. That would make sense. Oh yeah, questions are coming in. Keep them coming. Yeah, so the Bailey bridges are those ones that are mounted on the vehicles. I've seen them on X. I never knew what they were called. But I've seen them on X. I've seen them deployed. Awesome thing. I know there was a programme on the Yesterday channel on castles around the UK. I'll be honest with you. I'm running out of documentaries and stuff to watch on castles. I have nailed everything I can get my hands on. You know what I mean? I've always had a thing for castles. I grew up in North Wales, you know what I mean? Sort of mid-grew up, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and what do you call it? So castles were always around, and you know what I mean? So they've always been part of my interest. But I've really been soaking up a lot of details and a lot of architecture and that sort of stuff. No Jace tonight? Any word on him? I hear he's better. I was speaking to him earlier in the week on Thursday, and he was alright then. I think he's just got a lot going on at the minute, you know what I mean? Right, I've got 6 questions so far. We're getting to about 10 or 7. They're coming in. Right, I see 1 from our Harry. I'll do that in a minute. In fact, I'll do that now. Yeah, while we get some questions in. Oh, Mel's got a number. Shouldn't sit like that. And while I'm doing it, I'll have an American hard-boiled sweet. Plenty of castles in Wales, some of the best. Yeah, what you call it? It's really weird because we lived on Anglesey. Yeah, now Anglesey only has Beaumaris as a major castle. Yeah, but we used to get loads of people. Hello, baby. Oh.
You got nod.
All right. We've taught the boy a new skill, cookie making. Genius, absolute genius. No, what do you call it? Because we were on the North Wales and we were in a place called Amlwch, yeah, which is literally a coastal town. Loads of family used to come and visit us over the summer, which automatically, because my mum used to work in the craft shop, always used to mean they used to take me and go visiting North Wales, which meant they visited the castles. So I got taken around the castles so many times that I knew more than the tour guides. Jace probably hasn't turned up because Mel banned him last week. No, we sorted that on Thursday. Me and Jace had a special private hangout to sort it. Warwick's a good castle. We've done Warwick. Me and Kay as well, the family. Yeah, we're members of English Heritage and the National Trust. Yeah, and we schedule our holidays around castles and interesting things like that. I always wonder if did they ever think castles were an eyesore back in the day in the same way as motorways and stuff are now. They were intimidating, weren't they? When you look at it, a bit like the cathedrals, when you look at the size of a cathedral, then you look at the other structures that would have surrounded it, they were super huge. The same with castles. You know, they were to impose, you know, law through fear. Harlech, Beaumaris. Harlech's a good castle. I do like Carnarvon Castle, to be perfectly honest. Beaumaris is a nice little castle. Shrewsbury Castle's a nice castle, to be truthful. There's a good museum in it as well. Stafford Castle is more like an armoured house or a fortified house on a hill. I wouldn't refer to it as a proper castle. Although technically a castle is defined by whether it has fortified walls with crenulations, and whether you could have crenulations was down to whether you could get a license for it from the king. That's a good brew. Mel, how about a sailing vessel as game terrain? A good man-o'-war. Oh, that's a bit controversial. Conway, Radin, Dwallan, Carnarvon, Denby, Flint. You are? I don't know the last one. Cerrig Ken Castle is good. Have you ever been to Tingle? No, mate. We used to do like Anglesey and the North Wales coast. I need to use stronger plaster than Herculite 2. Any better than that? Krista Calar, mate. There you are. Men of Harlech standing ready. Harlech's a nice castle, to be truthful. Is there no limit to your knowledge, Mel? No, Mel's... You see, the thing is, Mel's really knowledgeable in a few selective areas. Yeah, I fall down with things like dates, like anniversaries and stuff like that. I saw perhaps showing architectural power, you know. Yeah. Oh, I like that idea, Paul. Hold up, you grew up in Wales, so you're a Welshman. Oh dear. Load more jokes. It's far more complicated than that. I was an Englishman growing up in Wales. Didn't England have all the best castles till some king knocked them down? No, what you call it? England generally didn't have that many castles. Castles were used to control rebellious populations. So generally where you found the castles, yeah, were around Wales, the borders of Wales and around the coast of Wales. Very few actually in the mountain areas, yeah, and mainly North Wales. South Wales was a lot easier to subdue than North Wales. The North Wales were particularly fierce with good old Glyndŵr, yeah. The Welsh, was he a Welsh prince? He was a Welsh noble, wasn't he, Glyndŵr? He rose up and then sort of, there was massive battles and that sort of thing. Okay, one more. Ruadlan in itself is amazing, but was even more work to dig the 3-mile channel so Edward could have his castle near water and thus could be supplied. Damn, 3-mile dig. Carnarvon's nice for that. Felhate, most were knocked down by Cromwell. Yeah, well that was the Civil War, wasn't it? That was the first time that English castles came across cannons. Is it because the Welsh were so revolting? I don't know what the main... I know the English treated the Welsh like crap, you know. So I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? They rebelled. Standing on the edge of Stirling Castle trying to figure out how anyone took the place. Alright, Larissa, stay safe. Cromwell sacked Pembroke Castle. I've seen it, I haven't visited it. Right. Let's get IC. First off, one double check for PayPals before we jump into the questions. Whilst we ramble on about castles, eh? And just to double check, yeah, it's just our Harry. Our Odin, thank you, buddy. He has paid his dues. Let's get him on the screen. Thank you, matey. Right. No, it wasn't here, Mel. It was you. TV, no alarms here. I didn't hear any alarm. Took first you find 5,000 lives that no one would be able to. Hey, what? Hey, that's a strange comment. Wales was overwhelmingly royalist during the civil wars. Yeah, I mean, even whatchamacallit, even Charlie Boy, he's the Prince of Wales, isn't he? Not sure why. I really should look into that more. It was one of those things, I think, because at the time I was being forced to learn Welsh as part of my GCSEs, I took as little interest in Welsh history as possible. I mean, my Welsh teacher actually gave up on me. I mean, physically gave up on me. Because I flatly refused to learn the language. And then secretly learnt it. I just used to pretend I wasn't listening. I'd be honest about it. Nope. She'd say, well, why are you not learning Welsh? I said, because as soon as I'm old enough, I'm moving back to England. I wonder why me and her never got on. Right, I see 11 questions. Mel has adopted question mode. Right. Oh, lots of questions. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, guys. Anton's asking, would you consider a 3D printer for enhancing your terrain building? And how far would you take it to replace current materials, scratch building projects? Good question, Anton. Very good question, first off. And one that's been on my mind recently, because obviously Mel doesn't want to become a bit of a dinosaur, you know, left in the past. Okay, but at the same time, fundamentally I see, when you look at 3D printed terrain, I see 3D printed terrain very much like manufactured terrain. Yeah, you can get that stuff manufactured. The difference is the point of manufacture. You know, one you buy it, one you print in-house. Now obviously you've got the computer design element of that, but I'm not a 3D artist. Certainly not one that would want to go into the sort of time it takes to do entire buildings. So for me, a 3D printer would be more about being able to print the smaller detailed stuff, the fiddly stuff, because that's the really challenging stuff to get right. Scratch building tiny, quite often modern details. Yeah. So I think that's where it would come in for me. Or more possibly, it'd be more about 3D printing masters that I could then cast up and use en masse on large terrain projects. Yeah, so that's where I think 3D printing would fit in for me. You know what I mean? The challenge is I would have to learn 3D printing, of course. Send your son to school to be a 3D artist, support his dad's hobby. Well, to be truthful, Corbyn's done laser cutting and that sort of stuff as part of craft and design, or design technology, or whatever they call it nowadays. But he's already done a bit of that, so I've seriously been considering, you know, training him up and get him trained up on the 3D stuff. Pagan saying that it takes hours to print even small stuff. The bigger you build, the better you're off with building it from scratch. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, which is why I say I'd use it for small stuff that I could then mould and make multiple of because of that side. Yeah, 3D printing isn't hard to learn. It's the design element that is difficult to learn. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, once you've, I mean, it's just a printer, isn't it? Once you've mastered, you know, the set techniques of printing. But I must admit, it's the 3D side that terrifies me. Does anyone know of anyone I could buy? Thingiverse, where you can get people to design your bits for you, and then they send you the files and print them. You could use it to print things like gargoyles. Yeah, exactly. We call it plastic crack for a reason, mate. Yes, Simon, I'll be at Salute just cutting in. 3D printing isn't so hard. It's more of an art than a science, however. Yeah, I can get that. You know, I can understand that. 3D design software has a really steep learning curve. Only 1 in 3D prints is successful, really? Nice views. Since I've picked one up, I've found it so good to enhance and add little touches. Nice. I know Ant's been working with it. Tim's still using clay. I 3D printed an R2-D2 yesterday and it was about 10 inches tall. Took me 14 hours to do it. Damn. Try Google SketchUp, it's free. Alright, I'll try that out. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking on the 3D printing side. You know what I mean? I think I would like to play with it. Yeah, I just don't want to get too involved in it. I certainly don't want it to replace... I mean, to be absolutely clear, I love the scratch building side. You know what I mean? And I don't ever think 3D printing is ever going to replace it, because I think the scratch building is a hobby in itself. Yeah. It's in my pocket, lady.
Pass it.
Oh, you're not even playing it. Come here. It's alright, you're not on camera. Come here, darling. Oh. Happy anniversary.
No, to be a happy anniversary, you're doing work for me. Pass it to you.
He's like,
Come on, I haven't got time to mess
go on.
about.
Love you.
Love you too. Oh, sit.
Right. Maker says I have a way better ratio than 1 in 3 for successful prints. Look at Tinkercad, really easy to learn and perfect for terrain. Right, okay. Any bits to play with, Mr. Mel, 3D print wise? Let's chat Salute, mate. I'm guessing you'll be there. Right, let's move on. Next question. 2 of 13. Lizzie. Okay. I have a project that is an underwater scene. Oh God. Yeah. How would you achieve the blue water effect? Resin. Yeah. Also, will hot glue warp the base if I use it to stick the plastic pole in I'm using to make the island levitate above the water? Make the island levitate. Right, so you've got an island levitating on a plastic pole on a base. Right, hot glue should not warp base. Yeah, there's no creep in hot glue. Yeah, also, I can't imagine you'd be putting that much down that you could cause warping. Yeah, warping, the amount of warping you get depends on the amount of area of glue you put down. If you're only gluing in a very localized place, that's not going to cause warping over a larger area. So I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. How would you achieve the blue underwater effect? Now you see what we'd normally do is we'd fill it with resin, tinted resin. Yeah. But I'm assuming you're either wanting to do this cheap or you're wanting to do it for a diorama or something like that. Is there any need to have access to the underscene? Are you going to be playing with it or are you just setting it up? You married well. I did, Kat, I did. Larissa's never had a problem with her printer since it's gone, since it first set up. That's nice to know. No, on the water scene, I'm not sure. If you're in the comments, jump in. Yeah. And what do you call it? We'll see if we can nail that one down. James, the 3D. Hey, there's a lot of people with 3D printers around. Mel, have you thought about designing some terrain kits of your own? Something you can sell through a distributor to finance your hobby? Oh, finance my hobby. Oh, wow. Sorry, I'm not taking the mick, mate. It's just been a while since I've thought of this as a hobby. I know it is my hobby. Yeah, but it's been a while. Hello, mate, Clems. Right, let's move on to another question. I don't like underwater questions. John is asking, how do you measure scale when making terrain? That's a... What do you mean by measure scale? How do you keep things in scale? How do you know what scale to make terrain to? I mean, scale's pretty weird. Scale only really applies in the terrain world, yeah, when you're working with, or accurate scale, should I say, only applies in the terrain world when you're working with anything that's man-made, okay? Because nature's always got a bit of variance on it. You have big bushes, small bushes, bushy bushes, tall trees, short trees, fat trees, big hills, small hills, hillocks, mountains. I mean, there's a pebble, there's a rock, there's a boulder. Yeah, do you know what I mean? There's no defined. Yeah, so it mainly comes, when it comes down to scale, it mainly comes down to the human things that need to be in scale. And quite often, yeah, when you're making terrain, or specifically Wargames terrain, in scale, human-built things, you don't actually want. Yeah, because they're too big for your table. If you actually start scaling down, I mean, if you actually start scaling down proper sized buildings to fit on a wargaming table, they don't fit. You know what I mean? And so you have to play with things. Quite often what you do is you'll make sure things like on a building that the doors and the windows are to scale. But the building won't be to scale. It can be a lot smaller as long as what you reference a human eye to, a human piece figure to, is in scale. You get away with it. Aren't we getting into the difference between bushes and shrubs? That was a fiasco. That was not a fiasco. That was a good jolly. Can you please show me how to make some industrial sci-fi city stuff? We'll get there eventually. Evening, Mel. Sorry to butt in, but are you going to Salute? Yes, I'm going to Salute. I will be at Salute. Won't scale depend on the type of terrain? Technically, no. It'll depend on the game system you're making for, but the terrain can be at any scale, can't it? It could be, you know, you wouldn't have a particular scale for a particular type of terrain. Unless you were trying to replicate something like mountains, which, even though you haven't got a particular type, you would have to do it at quite a small scale, wouldn't you? Yeah, I guess especially when Kez got hurt. That was kind of amusing. There is nothing better and more fun than Kez baiting. Kez? How long have we been married?
18 years.
I mean, it's been 18 years. After 18 years, you're safe enough and secure enough in your relationship to have some fun. Right, next question. The questions are vague and difficult tonight. Have you lot been ganging up on me? Mac the Maker. Looking to post-apoc buildings. how would you do moss overgrowth or just flock or moss overgrowth? I'd probably go for foam flock for moss. Yeah, you want something vibrant. Well, I mean, it depends on the type of moss, doesn't it? What? Really? Is it because I've got a cookie? Yeah, not bad, 18 years. The chat on screen is not updated. No, it isn't. Was it? It's updated on my end. That'd be Google. That's Google's fault. There you are. It's updated. She survived that long? I know. He smells the cookie. See my screen not move. My screen's moving. Come on. Really? Really, you've dropped drool all over my chair. Thank... What, this? This? I tip if I didn't say you could have it. This? Is that what you want? Everything's Google's fault. Everything is Google's fault. So how would you do moss overgrowth? I'd go with, what do you call it, a foam flock, mate. Yeah, that seems to have the right sort of volume for it. Yuck. Drooled on my chair and everything, dog. You're as bad as the children. Right, yeah, so I would go for a foam flock. What you want to do is you want to use something like a Stay Tacky adhesive, like Hobby Tack. Yeah, a Stay Tacky latex adhesive. Yeah, you would brush that on, and then when it goes all clear and tacky, then you can just simply apply your foam flock. Yeah, and then give it a soaking with watered down PVA. Now the benefit of using the latex glue, the Stay Tacky latex glue, is that it won't reactivate when the water hits it, which means if you'd use PVA or something like that, that would react and all your foam flock would slide down your wall. By using the Stay Tacky latex glue, that will hold it in place whilst it's soaked with PVA, and once that PVA sets, it'll be like rock hard. Yeah, so if no dog's peeing on, they're drooling over them. I don't have much luck with dogs, do I? Yeah. At all. But anyway, that's the best way of approaching what you call it moss, mate. Yeah, and once it's actually dry and what you call it sealed, yeah, it won't be a problem for you to give it a dry brush to highlight it. Hey, you should do more forest models. I should, shouldn't I? Any chance of doing any more Star Wars themed? Do you know what? I should come up with a common answers sort of page, shouldn't I? That I could flick across. I haven't got Legion, so I'm not making Legion stuff. For the underwater question, check out Deep Water's miniature game. There's a promo video on YouTube and the board looks awesome. Thanks, dude. Right. Next question. 5 of 14 from Tim. When you do sci-fi modern terrain and you have to do rivets, what's your preferred method? Yeah, I use 1 minute diamonds from Nail Design. I have a hole puncher. Yeah, that punches them at various size, widths and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I use one of those, and I use a bit of plasticard for when I'm doing rivets. The other thing is I buy, rivet strips. And they're thin strips of plasticard, yeah, which are moulded with rivets on. And then what you do is you just glue those over the piece where you're going to have rivets on it. They're a lot easier. If you want to go full bore, and I mean properly full bore, yeah, then what you can do is, on wherever you're putting your rivets on, you can get a pin vise, drill a very tiny hole, and then drop the little balls out of a water filter into the hole, and that will give you the perfect sort of rivet look. Yeah, I know the guys at Forge will do that, when they design the tanks and that sort of stuff. But for me, I have a hole puncher, and I use that just to simply knock out simple plastic card ones. And like I say, the other thing is my plastic card strips. How old is Ozmonster? 12, aren't you, mate? You're 12, aren't you? You're beautiful, aren't you? Come here. Hello. What is it, Oz? Is that the biscuit? This biscuit. Aye, this is mine. Come here. Come here. Ah, this is mine. You're not having any. No. Definitely not. No. No, 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 no. No. Don't care if you look at me like that. You're not having me cookie. Stop licking your lips. It's mine. You had the last one. No. That's it. Go lie down. Shit, I had my last cookie. Oh, don't come skulking back. Come here. Come on. No more. Come here. Oh! Go on. I'm getting older, man. So yeah, that's how I would do rivets, mate. Yeah, Will Scenics do the rivet strips. You can buy packs of them. Okay, and they're literally a sprue with strips with rivets on. Yeah, and you get about 6 sprues in a pack for about £2-3. For rivets, nail art half beads, £1 for 2,000. Well, there you go. I use drill rod and I missed that. Did it? Really, Oz? You're still open, aren't you? Come on, dude. Mate, go lie down. No, you've had enough. Go lie down now. Go on. Don't lie sitting at me, wagging your bloody tail. That's not proper lying down, is it? That's not having a rest lying down. That's I'll wait here until I'm not looked at, Dad, and then I'll walk back up for me cookie lying down, innit? That's what that sort of lying down is. Right, next question. Somebody hasn't made some bacon for it. Do you know what? I'm watching you. Yeah? He gets what you call it. He gets treated so well. Right. Let's crack on with the next question. Callum. Mal, as I mentioned, I'm doing arid desert terrain. For my base texture, how would you suggest I go about it? I was considering just PVA, then sand and grit. Yeah. Then spraying PVA, then seal it, flock, static grass in moderation would work. Would you advise to paint it? No, I did. That's a lot of PVA, mate. Yeah, especially on something which is going to be mainly flat. I'd probably mix your sand and your grit in with filler. Yeah, and a dash of PVA. Make a gloop and put that down. The benefit is the amount of PVA you'll need to layer down to put that much sand and grit down would be quite a lot. Yeah, which means you could be looking at warping issues. Whereas if you mix it in with your filler and apply that, you're not going to get the creep, you're not going to get the warping. It also skips the sort of stage of you're having to go to seal it as well when using just sand and grit PVA down. So you're sort of combining all that into one by mixing it in with your filler. The other thing is you can sort of work your textures, so where you want it smoother, you can get a damp brush, and as it's setting, just brush it over and smooth patches of it out, have other patches that are more rocky. Yeah. Also, I wouldn't rely on the colour of the sand giving you your finished colour. You're going to have to paint it, mate. Yeah. The reason being is, even if you do go down the PVA route, if you seal it, you get this like wet, glossy look to sand. It's essentially like a plastic coat, and it looks nothing like a desert. So you are going to have to have to paint it. Your base colours are you're going to be looking somewhere. Your main sort of bulk colour is going to be ochre, yeah. And then you're probably going to want to desaturate it and pull it off to a certain tint with either a red or a blue, depending on what style of desert you want. And a way to fit the desert setting into our medieval RPG adventures. Time Portal. Hey, can you do some reviews on terrain sets you buy at stores? Generally, no. Yeah, generally, people aren't that interested. Yeah, certainly not interested enough that it's worth, going out and buying terrain. Just for me to say, look, I've seen this terrain. It's plastic, it's very pretty. You put it together like this, that's that done. Mel was surprised when he asked the dog, how was your day? And the dog replied, rough. I don't know how his day can be rough. All he does is spend it on the sofa. Thanks a lot, Mel. Would filler and grit not to be too smooth to simulate sand? Yeah, but you got to remember, you're looking at it with human eyes at your scale. You're talking about sand at 1/56 scale? Do you think you'd be able to see that with a naked eye, looking down on it? It'd be smooth, mate. I mean, you can barely see sand grains anyway looking down, at your feet on a beach. If they were 56 times smaller, you're not going to see that. It's just going to blend into a smooth coating. I am Alexander. Great side trip. That sounds interesting, Kat. I'm looking forward to the rundown of the game boards of Salute 2018. Me too. It should be a good trip. Mal, I like the review of one you did of the ravine or waterway bridge. It was a real eye-opener. Yeah, it's also the reason companies don't like sending me products to review anymore. I mean, to be truthful, if you can get something in advance of it being released to the general public, like I sometimes do with Foreground, then their reviews are worth doing. Because essentially you're giving people, a heads up on whether it's worth buying. With once it's already been out, to be truthful, there's already enough reviews around it. And as videos, they don't generally generate a lot of views, a lot of interest, which for the actual time, one, getting the kit, two, building the kit, figuring it all out, then filming the video and making the review, then editing it, posting it online, then responding to comments and admin in it. It's not really worth it for just general reviews. Right, on with the questions. Next question. Carl's got not a question. Then why did you submit it to the question sheet, Carl? Not a question, but praise and thanks. Oh, all right then. And well wishes as well. Does it come with money? So, that was a bit like my kids at Christmas. Well, here's your Christmas card. Yeah, and the first thing they do, oh, it's a nice Christmas card. Unless something floats out of it, you don't really wish me well at all, do you? You've inspired an old man, 45, to begin creating it. What do you mean, old man? 45. I'm 43 next month. Stop with the bloody old Carl. Man, Carl, you're supposed to be picking me up and wishing me well, dude. Yeah, you've labelled me as old. No worries, thank you, Carl, mate. Sorry for ribbing. Thank you so much. No, thank you, mate. It is appreciated, dude. It genuinely is. There's a massive... You shut up, Aunt Evans. You are an old boss. I'm not repeating that, young man. Right. Common Road Junction. I've seen you in the chat. Right, how do you make 176 soldiers look shot up? It's for a World War II diorama if you want to know about what type of ammo. Pretty easy. You just lay them flat and paint a bit of red on them. I mean, unless you're going for a headshot, yeah. Or actually, old SLR that'd take an arm off at a mile, so that doesn't really apply. Generally, yeah, unless you go for like headshots, there's no real need to modify the models. You're more about looking at blood staining. You know what I mean? And in that case, all you're looking at is look at where the uniform is. You'd have, from a gunshot wound, you're probably going to be looking at 2-inch blood, patch, yeah, with blood drainage where gravity would take the blood. Yeah, quite typically, when someone gets shot, yeah, the clothes will soak up about military clothes will soak up about 2 inches around the wound. Yeah, if you're wearing a t-shirt or something like that, that'll soak up about 4 or 5 inches. Yeah, it also depends on the size of the wound, the volume of the blood coming out, the heart rate of the victim, were they shot while they were standing still, were they shot while they were running, because that affects the actual volume that leaves the wound. Yeah, obviously, also how their position was when they got shot, I mean, if they were propped up against a wall, that's going to affect blood pour a bit. Also, hot and cold, the temperature, that sort of thing is going to affect it. Where they get shot is going to affect the sort of the colour of the blood, whether it's arterial or venous. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get something arterial, then it's going to be a big, bright red. Yeah, because that's going to pump like a bugger. I mean, they really do. They spurt. Yeah. Dodge it. Dodge hasn't been there. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to shooting, just go with a dark red, a burgundy red. Yeah. Mix a bit of umber in with it. Okay. Paint it in little patches, then thin it down and just have it streaking along the clothes and that sort of stuff. Chris is saying, I'm 55 and my husband is 59. Yeah, Mel is a babe in arms. Yes! My birthday has BC before it. Oh. Alright, yeah, so, yeah. Slap a bit of burgundy red on with a bit of brown in, mate. You'll be fine. Mel is scaring me with the blood talk. Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so. Combat medic. Blood's my job. Blood was my business, as we used to say. Bright red, very, very bad. Yes, bright red, very... If it looks pink, you're screwed. Someone's put a round through your aorta, mate, and you're going out. Right. Eternal Novice is asking, what would be a good first project to make terrain modelling? My recommendation is always CD Scatter Terrain. Yeah. It's one of the videos in the Let's Make playlist. But quite simply, the idea is, that you hunt around and you find one of your old, CDs or DVDs that you don't need, and you use that as your scenic base. And that way you put a bit of tape over the hole, and then you can start to glue down some rocks, apply filler, and it gives you a little base to start playing with. And it's all about learning the very principles of the groundwork, you know what I mean? The filler, the flock, the grit, the sealing, the painting, the flocking, the clump foliage, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it just makes it easy. And you can make a load of scatter pieces like this, and then once you've got this nailed down, move on. So, yes, that's what I recommend for that one. Kaz? Stay. Did you hear drama then outside? Yeah. Alright. Sorry, folks. Oh! Spoke on? What spoke on? Pink? Yeah, turn on novice. So what's the first one? Yeah, CD scatter terrain, mate, I recommend. Yeah, start small, your confidence skill will improve with each one and it'll stay fun. Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets this idea that they're going to build something really big and impressive, or I always do for my first project. I was notorious for it. Yeah, but it'll grind you down. Yeah, and if you start small, there's... It doesn't take long to become reasonably competent at terrain making, okay? You know, but there's lots of little mistakes that you make early on. And it's better to get all those out of the way on some very simple stuff, yeah? Before you start the bigger, more complicated stuff, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'd go for that, mate. Right. 10 of 18. Cat. A cat. Yeah. Can anyone, even us stateside folks, become a member of a heritage group? I'm planning a walkabout in Scotland around the castles and they sound like a good base to start from. Yeah, anyone can, you can join from outside the country. Yeah, I mean, you can go to the castles and stuff without being a member. It's just you pay when you go to the castle. You know, and it's only a few pound. It's not expensive to visit a castle. You know, unless you're going to Warwick. Yeah, but Warwick's a big ticket event, you know what I mean? Yeah, but normally it's just a couple of quid to get you in. Yeah, it's just if you're a member you get free entrance. Right, did it. Next question. But yeah, Kat, you can become a member, but personally, I'd probably just pay at the Castle Duck. Ilad Z. Mel, do you have any tips on cutting realistic cracks in plastic card or some similar plastic? I want to make a weathered pillar as a scenic base. Realistic cracks in plastic card, or you're probably going to want to look at EPVC. And the reason I say that is because you can chip it. Yeah, you can literally get your blade in and chip it up and flick bits out of it. And it does look more, more realistic. Yeah. I'd imagine the cracks you could engrave out of it as well. They'd be quite difficult to do in plastic card. Plastic card's quite difficult to get chipping and that sort of stuff. I struggle sometimes when I used to do plastic card orc stuff to get that worn, you know, sort of look to the metal, or what I was trying to do. Yeah. So yeah, expanded PVC foam board. Have a look at that. 3mm is probably your better option. Don't join English Heritage if you're going to Scotland. Good point, Rob. Made some awesome terrain using your terrain making tips. Nice one, Brandon. 2 dislikes. Hang them. We shall hang the dislikers. We shall hang them hard. Right. Crack on. Kaz? Did I hear the kettle? Right, Anna Charlotte has a joke she made for you. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. Willow, your wife and cat. Remember, please, she is only 7 years old. Don't know if it's in it, but here goes. If you go to the terrainiacs store, what will the terrain tree clerk say to you? Greetings, how may I treat you, of course. I quite like that one. I'm going to use that. Charlie, that was lovely, darling. I'm going to use that on Corbin. Right, let's crack on. Callum, back. Right. Would you actually do your own book? That would be amazing, just saying. Yeah, what you call it? The idea behind the book. Yeah, see a laugh. The I say it all. Yeah. Right. The book. One of these days, she's just going to dump the kettle on him. Hopefully today won't be the day. That would be right, the book, right. Obviously I'm doing a shout out for Dave Taylor at the minute in his book. Yeah, and I've been thinking about doing a book for a while. I've been thinking about doing a series of books. Now, if I was honest, I'd like to do them with Osprey, because of my connections with Warlord and the fact that Osprey have quite a good distribution network. But I don't know if that will happen. Yeah, and so I might have to self-publish or get Dave do it for me. Yeah, but a lot of serious consideration about doing a book. Still think you should release your ideas book. When I die, mate, when I die. I would buy your book, Mel, if I could get it in the States if it was reasonably priced. Well, Dave's based in the States. So I would imagine we'd have printers over there and printers over here. I don't know. See you later, Insane. Here lies a man who wasn't ready. You need a ghostwriter. Oh, thank you, baby. PVA, just PVA it. Do you know what I think we should call it? The Crack-Onicon. The Crack-Onicon. I love that one. Kermit the Fob. Mel, if you're thinking about going self-publishing route, speak to Henry Hyde. You said it, miniature war games, that's his field. Right. Actually, I forgot I backed it. Rob, what you like? No, I think, what you call it, the Crack-Onicon. I think that would be a cracking name for a book. What about TTT? So yeah, just to sum the book up, it's something I've thought about. One of my ideas was, if I do the castle project, to document the castle project heavily as I do it. So I've got the footage, I've got the photos to do like a really nice book. The other thing that I thought about was a basic terrain book for wargamers. Yeah. Thank you, baby. It's alright, Doug. Yeah, a basic terrain book for wargamers. Yeah, but it's kind of a mute point because it's sort of like, why do a book full of like tutorials for making when I've done the videos? You know what I mean? Yeah, I can understand from the castle point of view because that's quite a grand project. Whatchamacallit-con? Crack-Onicon. It was a mouthful, wasn't it? Right, but yeah. I may do a book. You know what I mean? I may do a couple of books. We'll see how it goes. If I can't get a proper publisher, And by that I mean I can't get in with Osprey or something like that, or War Games. Yeah. Terraining for dummies. Terraining for dummies. Yeah, but anyway, if I can't get in with someone who's like a proper publishing house, then I go the self-publishing route, like quite a few wargaming people do. Then I'll probably see how it goes with Dave Taylor. I mean, I've known Dave for years, and publishing is Dave's bag. That's his background, a lot of anyway. Why book? Easier to reference when doing terrain than going to vids all the time. Yeah, I suppose so. Books don't leave the world. Yeah, I think it's, to be truthful, it's a bit ego-ish. Yeah, if I'm perfectly honest. Yeah, and it is a bit financial, you know. I do have kids to support and families, you know, and this is kind of my job, and, you know, you want to do well and do better each year and that sort of stuff. I mean, I'd like to get to the stage where I'm doing well enough that I can actually take someone on, because I'd like to take on a video editor, because it's not a job I enjoy. Yeah, and if I took on a video editor, then I'd have more time to spend on actually making the videos. Yeah, rather than editing them and all that sort of stuff, which is an absolute... I'm not saying I dislike the job, yeah, but it's more a case of it's a chore, yeah, and editing videos, it can take a good while, it can take hours, you know what I mean? It can be, right, today I'm editing this, you know what I mean? You know, it took me about a day to edit the last terrain video, the last trench video. So if I was to do books, it would have to be commercial, it would have to be financially viable. Mel's Terrain Book 2, where it trains, it pours, rivers and water effects. I love that one. What's coming up on TTT, Mel? At the minute, I'm mainly working on the medieval stuff. Obviously, I always get in a bit of a lull after I finish a big project. I have got a couple of projects on the side I'm working on and that sort of stuff, but I haven't got far enough into them to release any videos on them. Yeah, now I'm working on 2 projects at the same time, and because, like I say, I haven't got far enough into them to actually, right, you know, release that, then, you know, we're in this sort of weird situation where I want to get into this situation where I'm that far ahead with my content, yeah, with my projects, like you know, commissions and tables and stuff like that, that I can release them early to patrons, and then, you know, when the next video comes out, that goes to patrons, and the one that was to patrons goes to public. Chitty Chitty Terrain, Lord of the Terrains. You already have photos on digital, so it's just a format of friendly instructions. No, the photos from from my cameras, because they're not 4K cameras, they're just basic high def cameras. They don't work well for printing, mate. Become a YouTuber and release a book, which is useful, unlike all these vlogger YouTube kissy D's. I don't even know who they are, mate. There's also the idea of publishing a CD with tips that haven't been covered in YouTube videos. Just a thought. I was actually, you know what you could do if you wanted to make a lot of money? Yeah, and it's not something I would actually do, yeah, because it's not my style, you know that, you know, I'm here to help, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I was thinking, if you wanted to be cruel, yeah, you know all your recipes for your washes, your gloops, how to seal this, what glues to use. Yeah, you could do terrain tutorials and then go, right, now we're going to give it a coat with a gloop. And if you're wondering how we're going to make our gloop in, it's covered in chapter 2 of my book. That'd be evil, wouldn't it? I mean, that'd be truly evil. Once upon a terrain. Oh, that's a good one. We're almost to unlocking the Gaunt's ghost feature. Oh, is ghost for good? The life of Mel. I don't know what's going on upstairs. Can you just give me... Cub! Corbin! You know I'm live, yeah? Calm down, lad. He's in a massive gaming session on Roblox with his mates. And something's just happened. Oh. Money, money, money. Pound on the floor. Right. Oh, we've had a couple of PayPals. I better do those in a second. Right, did it. Return of the Flock. Now, the book shouldn't just be more terrain tips. It should be more about the techniques on how you start and keep going through big builds and go down that route, as well as terrain. I like that. Right. I've got how many more questions? I've got 5 more questions. I'm going to lock the questions off in 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, we've got a couple of PayPals, so I'll shout the PayPals out first, then I'll lock the questions off. Okay, so... Oh, we've got... we've had, what you call it? Right. We've had a couple of nuggets. 3 of those, that they're US money. Those bills. Yeah. From Celtic Blue, Danilay and Charlie. It's really from Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. Your adults just sent it to me, didn't they, darling? Mel needs sweets too. Buy your wife sweets too. I did buy my wife sweets too. Don't worry. I came back with 3 packs of chocolate today. Right, so Danilay will get you on. Right, let's get Charlie on. Because it is for Charlie, isn't it? Right, press that one. There you go, Charlie. Let's get you on the screen, darling. She's my youngest fan. There you go. And then also we've had a couple of nuggets. It looks like 5 of those British ones. Noble British ones. I've learned a lot from your videos and it makes it really fun to watch. I've decided to support you. Nice one, dude. You're a great talented person. Keep it up, Mel. Greets from Germany. Sven. Okay, Sven. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. Sven K. There we go. Right, they're on the screen. We are caught up. Am I caught up? I'm caught up. Yes, we're caught up. Right, last few questions. Right, no more questions tonight. Charlie says, how about terrain monsters for your book title? I think that's what I'd call my children, to be truthful, Charlie. My little terrain monsters. Right. Quick brew, and we'll get through these last 5 questions. And then, guys, because, I mean, we've got about 12 minutes till the end of the show. If we run a little over, we'll run a little over. Yeah, if we run a little short, Mel will run to the toilet. Right. G. Stevens. Okay, I'm building a river into my board. My phone is stuck. My phone is stuck down with no one. My phone, okay, is stuck down. I think he's typing on his phone and it's auto-corrected it. Yeah, it's stuck down with no more nails. Am I best cut the shape of the river into my project before I glue? Yeah. When it comes to whenever you're gluing foam down onto a board, mate. Yeah, then you want to put a river into it. Always cut the river out of the foam before you glue it down to the board. I've made this mistake twice. Once I did it and realised I should never do it again. And then about 5 years later, I did it again and realised I should have remembered the first time. Both of them were an absolute nightmare. Glue your pieces down first, then trying to cut them out from... It's not just the difficulty of the fact that the foam may be glued down. It's also really awkward to cut through foam when you can't actually get through to the other side or manipulate it and turn it round and cut from the other side. Do it off the board, glue it onto the board, mate. Mel's kids are the least amount of PVA he's used in any build. Right, yeah, but that's that question. Right, so hope that helps you. Gary, I think it's Gary, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, he's followed up with a second question. All right then. I want some of the areas on my board to be cobbled, but I don't really want to have to paving directly onto XPS. Would you buy some thin MDF wood mounting about the foam areas for the cobbles and then DAS over it? Why don't you want the paving directly on the XPS? I mean, if it's high density, you should be able to engrave your cobblestones straight into it. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to... I wouldn't suggest getting MDF to mount on top of the foam to then DAS over it. If you're going to DAS it, just DAS straight over the top of the foam, mate. Yeah, the DAS will probably adhere better to the foam than it would have to the MDF, because the MDF is smooth. It did, Gary. It did, man. I've never made that mistake the third time. Book title, Terrainaholic, How to Make Terrain. I couldn't do Terrainaholic because my mate Bill's Terrainaholic, isn't he? He's the Terrainaholic. Thank you, Tofak. Right, let's move on. Question 16 of 19. Someone snuck in here, sneaky question here. Creative Foss. I can't get my hands on EPVC, so I've tried to be creative and use the top of ice cream boxes. But I've got some trouble using PVA on it. Hot glue maybe? Right. This could be... I may be a little bit confused here, yeah, but we have like plastic ice cream tubs in the UK. And I'm really struggling seeing the lid of that being used for terrain. So I'm assuming that you have a different sort of box. I'm guessing stateside or somewhere else that is more suitable. PVA can be a struggle with with plastics and stuff like that. You can use it, yeah, but quite often you need to sand the plastic first. Give it a rough sand with some coarse sandpaper to basically break up the smoothness and give it the PVA something it can key into. Yeah. Other options, of course, is you can smear over filler, yeah, or spackle over the plastic, yeah, and that will give a good texture, and PVA will stick to that. Okay. Hot glue will certainly work on plastic and then stick well to it, and EPVC. So I'm assuming you want to use hot glue for something like larger rocks and maybe trees or features that you're trying to glue onto your lid. But moving on, I go with filler. And then PVA any grit patches onto that, mate. Really? Evening, Corbin? Right. He may be talking about the bigger tubs. If so, they are coated with plastic, hence the problem. Right, I've never seen bigger tubs. We have little tubs of ice cream. It's rare I see those because Corbin normally eats them all. Right, question 17 of 19. Callum. Just purely out of curiosity and give you more questions. Thanks, Callum. What is your plans with terrain? I know you're just starting your castle theme, but have you got anything else in the works? Well, I think I've just covered this, but we've got the medieval series going on. Right now I've got a futuristic apocalypse 6x4 going on, and I've got a future battlefield going on, both 6x4. So yeah, plenty going on. It's notorious for nothing sticking to it. Is that right? Everyone's discussing the ice cream tubs now. Did you get the PayPal? I've had a PayPal. I'll do it in a second. Right. Question 18. 12-ack. Silly question. How do I participate in the chat? You already are, dude. I've replied to you. So we've won that one. Yeah. Creative Foss. I've answered that question as well. Oh, yes. Done them all. Multiple questions at the end. Form is closed. That bit is done. Right. PayPal. Andre? Yes, I have. It's just dropped. Oh, thank you, buddy. Treats the dogs and greets for Germany. 15 of that there British money. Oh, good man. Good man. Thank you, dude. Right. Let's get Andre in. Andre K. Thank you, buddy. It's not enough to... Oh, you're going to be a git, aren't you? Yeah, you're going to be a git. All right. If you're going to be a git, be a git. I can do this. There we go. Oh, so thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. And we are a few minutes from finishing the show. I've still got my cookie. I survived. So yeah, what you call it? Topics of this show. My book. Medieval. Castles. My book. More castles. Now, obviously, yeah, there are more tutorials and that sort of stuff coming. Yeah, depending on which one I get finished off on Monday, depends on what you'll get this week. Okay, it is school holidays and Kez is on placement at the minute, so I'm doing daddy duties at the minute. Yeah, with it being the school holidays, so it's a bit. I'm playing catch up back when I'm back into into the studio. But beyond that, plenty of stuff to do and plenty of stuff. Does git mean idiot or... Yeah, something like that. Git is more... someone who's lucky at something. Oh, you lucky git. You know what I mean? Right, who's calling who a git? Oh, future table, war table. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've got 2. Trilogy, flock and roll. Flocked and loaded. Cut, flocked and ready to flock. Getting sticky with it. PVA and glues. But Mel, do your castles have matriculations? Maybe. Human wiki, silly git, sneaky git, yeah. Good night all. Alright. Right. Do you know what? I think I'm going to call it. Because basically, everyone has just decided to define the definition of git and say good night. So we might as well wrap it up here. Listen guys, thanks for a cracking show. Hope that it's been entertaining for you. Sorry it's work tomorrow, guys, but that's the way it rolls. And in the meantime, I'm back in the studio tomorrow. Taking the boy with me. Yeah. And then, I'll see you soon. You will see me Thursday night. And, yeah, I will see you at Salute on Saturday for those of you who are going. I'll put a video up later in the week confirming what time we'll be getting together if you want to meet up and that sort of stuff. So keep your eyes out for that on the channel. And in the meantime, have a great night. Good night. Night, folks. Ta-da.